I'm here today with a, I don't know, but it's like an idol almost in the YouTube universe. Mr. Gaijin Goombah himself. I was really worried I wasn't going to get this interview.
You honor me, good sir.
Gaijin Goombah does a lot of stuff on his own YouTube channel with his wife and best friend.
Yeah, wife, best friend. We recently picked up another best friend to do our little Let's Play, and it's been fun so far. It's awesome.
Yeah, you're on the Game Theory channel for Culture Shock. You do a lot of really cool stuff. I actually first saw you watching The Lonely Goomba.
Oh, God.
The video you did with The Lonely Goomba, and I thought it was hysterical, the jokes he was making. Gaijin Goombah with an H.
Gaijin Goombah with an H. I freaking love LG, because it's like, when I noticed his work, I really did like it, because even though online I try to be this nice educational person or educated person, I've got lots of guilty pleasures, and his is one. Because it's his animation. His animation's really good. His artistry is really good. His jokes are pretty good. I really like the guy. So I was like, hey, you want to collab sometime? He's like, yeah. And then it was just joke after joke. It was the joke about how my mouth never moves when we talk. But it's really nice because he's a really good guy to me. But like people were legitimately thinking, does LG just treat you that badly? Because like at the very end, it's like, what a douche, and then that rich way that he does. But no, he's really solid. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoy collabing with people. It's awesome.
So my first question is, what is the coolest thing about being Gaijin Goombah?
The coolest thing about being Gaijin Goombah is I can literally do anything. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to be like to have an animated character. Right. I am without limitation. I can do whatever. In fact, this next episode that's coming out next Tuesday, I'm doing a lot of more special effects than I usually do, and I had a ton of fun with it because I see a lot of these people that are like doing face cam and green screens and stuff. It's so expensive to do it, but by working in character, especially with like animation, like bad animation.
Cartoons that move!
Thank you, Taka. But I can do so much with it.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to do. It's very cost effective. I'm not pulling my hair out. And not only is it easy to do a lot of the work that I do in terms of like how much effort and time and whatnot, I enjoy it that much more because of it.
I have to ask, you're a huge fan of Mega Man. I'm sure you have a lot of other favorite games. What made you want to be a Goomba?
I get that question all the time. There's like 100 different answers for that. So one, okay. I love alliteration. It's also a big Japanese thing. So I went with a concept like Gaijin Goombah. It just kind of rolled off the tongue really well. From the get-go, I wanted it to be an avatar character, and I had to think, okay, I did everything on my own starting off. I didn't have any artist help or anything, so I was like, I need to pick something simple that I can make multiple cells and multiple frames of with different emotions and whatnot. And so that's one of the reasons I went with the Goomba. I think they're adorable. They're really easy to work with. They're very underappreciated. And that's kind of how I felt for a big part of my life, because as a nerd in the 90s, I was looked down on a whole lot at school, and I kind of feel for the guys, because I mean, let me just get this out. Freaking Goombas are a nothing, like Mario Kart, nothing. Wiggler, Boo, freaking Blooper was in one of the Mario parties, and I'm like, where's the love? So it's just and you know, the name also fit because Goomba, for what it actually is as a word, it is a racial slur against Italian Americans. So I was thinking, okay, so I'm going to take Gaijin and Goomba, make it a double negative to make it positive, which is something very few people have caught on with. But,
not me, not this guy. Didn't catch it at all.
it's so many reasons. It just fits so well.
I can see that. Okay, that makes more sense. I was just wondering why you didn't pick something cooler, maybe. Oh, sorry. Not a huge fan of Goombas. You jump on them, you die.
That's why I am one.
That makes sense. So when you started your YouTube channel and you were doing your own thing, what changed when you went to Game Theory? How did that come about?
Okay. So is it how did I get with Game Theory?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was doing my thing for a little while, and I put up majority of my stuff on screwtech.com.
Right.
Because that's the first thing you have to do when you get started with YouTube. You have to find a small community first and build up from there. So I did that, and then when I started getting a little momentum, when I got like 500 to 1,000 views on SureAttack, I started reaching out to different people looking for advice and whatnot. So I reached out to the Extra Credits team, and they got back with me. I reached out to Brental Floss, he got back with me. I got to Matt, and he sent back like 6 paragraphs worth of stuff.
Wow.
And we just started talking back and forth, because the nature of our shows are very similar, but our execution is so very different. And that's kind of, in my opinion, what makes it work, is because Matt and I are two very different types of people, but we have the same objective when it comes to our shows. So he was like, now this was back when he on YouTube had like 20 to 30,000 subscribers. A much different time. So he said, I've got this plan to pick up you and Ronnie, and let's make, instead of game theory, let's make it the game theorists. And Matt is so brilliant when it comes to figuring out how YouTube works, how the algorithm works, everything like that. And so we just became a team. Ronnie started to edit a bit more of not just Matt, but of some of mine as well. I acted as a bit of the PR guy. I started reaching out to more of the people for the sake of the theorists. And it's just grown and grown and grown and grown. And so, you know, now we're starting to near 3 million. That's insane. None of us really expected that. But, I mean, it all just kind of came together when all of us came together.
That's awesome. So this has been a topic on my brain. You can ask that one. I talk to him about it all the time. You come to the term of bro gamer, you know, the Madden players, Call of Duty, and I went digged and digged and digged and digged and got to the point where I'm like, you can't really just call the Call of Duty the Madden players. I think every gaming community has that kind of person. And not only gaming, but movies, books, every type of life has this kind of person.
Right.
So how do you feel about the bros?
It's interesting because you could say the same thing about any other category of people that we've apparently established over time. But there's something that I told my kids when I was working in Japan, that I told them all the time, and it was ningen wa ningen da, and that literally means people are people, humans are humans.
Okay.
And so you have to take people at that very basic level. I do so much work with so many different nations, and I've gotten assistance from other people from other nations. Like the Ocarina of Time, is it offensive to Islamism? I had 3 people who were Muslim help me with it. And so, I mean, the one thing that I've learned about if it comes to any kind of person is that you got to take that at face value. Because people are so easy to be lazy and stereotype, because it's a quick fix for our head. If it's something we don't understand, we make something up to be comfortable with it. But when you get past that and you start working towards understanding who that person really is, and you have to do that. For people now, for people that are running around being self-proclaimed bros and like really working that stereotype, I really wouldn't call them a bro, because I'm not quite sure if actual bros would go around saying, "Oh, dude, we're so bro, so MLG." It's a stereotype.
Right.
So.
I don't remember the story, but I don't remember how to articulate it.
Go for it.
You went to Japan. You taught in Japan for a while. You stopped doing that for reasons. You came back and you decided to start teaching people culture through video games on YouTube. What gave you that idea?
Well, okay. So here's the thing. When I went to Japan, I was set on helping people with multiculturalism at a grassroots level. That is the job of within the Japanese exchange and teaching program, which is what I did.
Right.
So, yes, teaching English is the baseline of what I was supposed to do, but the real stuff that I was supposed to do was outside the classroom. It was to help people understand that we as foreigners aren't scary, because a lot of people over there have really bad stereotypes. But the funny thing is, because a lot of people say that Japanese are xenophobic, they're not. They just don't know. They haven't had that kind of exposure. But I had success moderately. But one of the big reasons I left that is because it was going nowhere. I was fighting against a system that was so old and so established, I couldn't take it anymore, so I came home. I was looking for work with Japanese companies or just other companies in general. It's the same story you're going to hear from everyone else, where they're overqualified, underqualified, whatever. So I just said, screw it, I'm going to try and figure out what I'm going to be doing with my life. And so I was watching some old like AVGN videos and watching like Braille Floss videos and stuff, and I noticed this growing trend. Like it started with the Tanuki suit, because Braille Floss was seeing some kind of magic bear, or James was like, what is this? He must be smoking crack, or however it is that he articulates it. I'm like, no, it makes perfect sense from this cultural standpoint. And that's really what kind of ignited that, and that was actually going to be my first episode, was the Mario, Zelda with the Hojo clan being the Triforce and all that, but it really kicked when Galgun came out, and everyone was abuzz, because it's a rail shooter about hitting 13 to 16-year-old girls with horse tranquilizer, essentially. And people were losing their crap, people were flipping out so hard, and I was like, you guys have no idea about their perspective about why high school is so important to them. And that's when I did my very, 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 very first episode. I was just like, here's the reality of it in that country. And two things happened. One, I learned that I wanted to do what I'm currently doing to try and defeat that kind of single-minded attitude about we only think as Americans. We don't think about other country perspectives. And the other thing, too, is that no one was really doing it. I mean, Shane from Digino Gaming was kind of doing it. Matt Pack did it from time to time with his videos, but he focused more on science. So I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And for the first couple of months, it was hard. No one saw anything. In fact, the very first comment I ever got was go back to Japan, dumb white pig baka gaijin, which is probably the worst thing you can say to me at that point. But I mean, you push through it, you muscle through it, and I'm having a blast. I'm able to do it full time now, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Well, it's been awesome. I'm really, really happy I got this interview, man.
No problem.
I'm a huge fan of yours, and Matt and Pat, you should send him a message. I want to interview him too.
Sure.
I emailed him, he didn't get back to me yet. Anyway, I'm Frank Wack. I'm here with the amazing Gaijin Goombah. This man is the smartest dude alive, and I will see you next time.